Good afternoon, I'm Elizabeth DePompe with DAV, and I'm here on Capitol Hill where DAV and MOAA just released their special report, Ending the Wait for Toxic Exposed Veterans. This report found that on average, toxic exposed veterans have to wait more than 30 years to access the full range of health care and benefits that they earned and that they need. I'm joined by Army veteran Mark Jackson, who sat on the panel during our event today. Mark, thank you so much for being here. Can you tell people a little bit about your service at K2 and some of the health consequences?
Sure. I was there from 2003 to 2004. I was 26 years old, healthy, a runner, and by the time I left, just a year later, my thyroid died, and then a litany of other health ailments and complaints that have cascaded and kind of wound me to where I am now. And it has been a fight to not get benefits.
And I should mention as well that K2 is Karshi-Khanabad Air Base in Uzbekistan. It's a former Soviet air base with, as you mentioned, a litany of things, a litany of toxins that we know have made a lot of veterans very ill. Mark, what have the challenges been for you to access care and benefits, given that so many of these exposures are not recognized?
I don't get them. That's a very simple answer. They did recognize my thyroid, and they recognized PTSD, which I don't think is related to toxic exposure. But everything else, from osteoporosis to chronic infections and these other things that really define my day-to-day life, all denied.
And so what is that like for you? Obviously there are practical consequences not being able to access the care and benefits that you earned and need, but what's it just feel like for you to feel like you're being denied your experience?
This will always, first and foremost, be about recognition. And it is the government that sent us to war officially recognizing that they sent us to this toxic place and now caring for the consequences of war. They paid for the war. Now they have to pay for the consequences of war.
Absolutely. So in DAV and MOAA's report, we put forth lots of recommendations, including kind of a stronger framework for how VA and Congress handles these toxic exposures and the illnesses that come with them. Mark, what's kind of your reaction to what you've seen in the report, and what would it have meant to you, or what would it mean to you?
If that framework had existed, I wouldn't have to be doing this, because the care and the recognition would already exist. If that framework had existed when we opened K2 and they acknowledged that those toxins and that radiation was all present, I wouldn't have to be fighting, all of us wouldn't have to be fighting individually just for recognition, let alone the benefits and everything else that comes from that recognition.
And I'll add to, you have a full-time job, you have a family,
I do.
And you graciously dedicate so much time to advocating for yourself and for other toxic exposed veterans. So thank you so much for all that you do. The point is, you shouldn't have to do that, right? But I'm glad that you do. Thank you all for watching. Again, it's Ending the Wait for Toxic Exposed Veterans.